What's good, everybody? You're here with your favorite sneakerhead art teacher for the very first episode of Kicks and today we have 99 products in the building.
Black, stop playing with it.
Before we get started, let's let them introduce themselves. Let's start with Bree.
I am Bree. I'm actually not a designer, but I've been working with Jeff and the team as their project director and really been on the inside of the process and the resources and the timelining of everything. So that's my role and my capacity over here. It's just been a nice journey of like exploration and creation. So I just get to make sure that that keeps rolling forward as projects and ideas come about.
Dope. And next we have Brandon.
Yes, sir. My name is Brandon. Grew up in Maryland, but also from overseas. So I've always been curious about footwear, former athlete, and just a sneaker enthusiast. So that's just like a quick summary of all the elements.
Dope. You said you're from Maryland. What part of Maryland? I lived in Virginia and Maryland for a little bit, but I grew up in Virginia.
Yeah, I grew up in Columbia.
Okay.
It's pretty central.
Yeah. I was in Silver Spring when I was up there.
Indeed.
But I grew up in Richmond, Virginia.
Shout out to Richmond.
Before we dive in, what everybody got on feet right now?
We got.
You go first. Go ahead and put them up.
Got the composites.
Yeah, those are hard.
Yep. That's what we got on.
And Bree, what you sporting today?
For me, of course, I gotta keep it 99. I got our newest release, our Golden. No glue mock shoe on a cup, so it's cute.
It's smooth. I actually got that colorway too, man. I got some ideas for it. I'm big into footwear, and I love the fact that shoe is made to be customizable, made for the sole to come off, and potentially add things on. That's a project that I'm thinking about doing in the next couple of months to like revamp the shoe, maybe add some elements and then stitch the sole back on. But that's for another time.
Word.
All right, so pretty much I want to know, about you guys. I also want to know about the brand. I thought about this like later on as I was like doing my script for the Carver in the composite colorway. Things kind of like as I look deeper into the shoe and just my history in general, I might have figured this out. But I want to ask you guys, and I'm gonna see if I'm right. Where does the name 99 Products come from?
I'm interested in you saying what you think it is first.
All right, so I'm gonna dive in by saying George Washington Carver came up with 99 different ways to use the peanut. And I'm figured since you got a shoe called the Carver, that could be where the premise of 99 Products came from. But I could be wrong. Let me know.
What you think, Brandon? You want to let him know, or should I?
Man, I think we got to bring that to Jeff because that's a wonderful addition to the story. I don't quite know if it's the original. I think that's a better idea. Honestly, we might have to tell that story because that's fire, man. Essentially for me, I think the idea, since I joined the brand, started working with Jeff and team, it really is about the 99%.
Okay.
The 99 that do all the work, and a lot of society's focused on that, but the 99% get overlooked. So when it comes to how we started, there were shoes being given to teachers and focused on education and just the community and at large and those that serve, especially Black and brown. So it's really about the 99%. But your story is fire, and we're gonna make sure we tell that.
Yeah, I mean, look, y'all story is fire too. Look, the 99% do all the goddamn work. So I
You know what
support
I'm
that
saying?
100%.
You got the reverse side of the story down
It's
though, because
multifaceted.
you got the name of the carver for that shoe.
Yeah.
Definitely in respect to that regard, like again, honoring the people that do like our first shoe. We were really honoring educators, and we continue our work with educators as well.
I appreciate
But
that.
for these, in terms of namings, it's like who are the innovators, who are the heroes, who are the folks that were like, pushing culture and innovation forward, and how do we integrate that in our story and honor them in our work and our product as well. So you definitely got the Carver connection for sure.
Yeah.
But the name 99, that's the umbrella, and the intention of it is to like really be able to also touch that 99% of people that don't have the access to the things that we're talking about and that we're creating as well. So lots of 99 references.
Fire. That's fire. Like I support that. That make me love the brand even more now. Like that's dope. That's dope.
You feel me?
Never had a brilliant concept. We just adding to it.
So Brandon, what would your specific title be in regards to 99 products?
I would say if we expand it for the N&M team at large and sort of working on more than just 99. We deal with a bunch of different labels and different brands. We work on a bunch of different things. But I say where it started as a footwear designer, being just focused specifically on footwear projects, I've expanded now to the product design role. So I've been told that Bree's been part of these projects. Go draw some luggage and figure out how that's built and go study it and apply the same process to that. So we've done projects for, stuff like that, innovative luggage. We've done, hand brushes, really expanded the product design role. And I think it's important that designers don't limit themselves. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I've got as far as like what my role is and how I profess that, to others is like expand that, be a product designer, but don't just be that either. It's at the level of like, what's the next thing,
Yeah. Not as dope. Basically keeping creatives creative.
Yeah, you got to.
I like that though. So is that one of the goals to expand into, luggage and other accessories?
Yeah, I think a big goal as far as like the way I see the design ethos and how it's evolving with AI and a bunch of different things is that it's about it's about your holistic thinking.
Yeah.
Can you design a program? We've designed sets, we've designed spaces, and I think it's less about the significance is less about the actual thing. It's more about the overall experience and how the soul integrates in that and sort of where your creative chaos and so what you can bring. We all have that, our own unique thing. It's like, what can you bring to that? With also knowing the skill sets and sort of the technicalities. So I think it's a combination of all that, so yeah, expanding on all that.
Okay. Now, in regards to 99, what would you describe you guys' brand aesthetic?
Free.
I laugh because if I feel like if we just put all of our team on the screen, we would be the aesthetic. Like he would understand what that was. But I think it's just like, again, attaching ourselves to that 99. Like even our logo is like 9 dots and 9 dots. Like
I said that.
We're that like specific and thoughtful and mindful in the design and like engineering and creating of a process that like that's really what we care about, and that's kind of how we try to like display it. But it's a nice mix of a bunch of, again, backgrounds and life stories and things that kind of just come together to storytell. So our aesthetic is definitely just like to be authentic and like storytell around like the real things that are important to us and that happen. And I think aesthetically that's a lot of different things. So we try to come out with a lot of different things.
Nah, I get that 100%. And I'm happy you confirmed something I thought of. I said it in my review that I posted yesterday. Each diamond shaped square has 9 dots. which could represent the 99 and 99 products. And I said that in my review, and then you confirmed it. So appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also just like people
I
just
like the
want simple
details.
things, you know,
Yeah.
people just want simple things that work, that look good, that make sense, that have meaning,
Yeah.
that, you know, speak to them and lets them feel seen, like, oh, this is fly and useful and does what it says it does and thought about what we said we thought about and just kind of, you know, trickle down the line. So that's us.
Okay, so what are you guys working on? If you can, because I know intellectual property and everything, but what are you guys working on that you are excited about that you kind of want to let the world know and everybody that's watching this?
Okay. I'll
If
go
you can, look, I ain't trying to make. I don't want
no,
nobody to lose their job.
I'll go as specific as I can without, really just saying no
Yeah.
names. But
Okay.
we're working on, a plethora of different types of sport product. We go from cleats to, expanding what 99 looks like from a category perspective. So I'm really excited about that. Be on the lookout for that, just seeing where that goes. I'm not gonna get into the weeds about that, but I think, in terms of, what we're doing, already expanding the brand, going from the point to now we have a bit of an assortment, just seeing more of that. As well as more in education. I'll let Bree kind of go in on that. I'm super excited about that because, this what separates us is it being community driven, and also a brand that's about teaching, as opposed to just, we want to sell, but as opposed to just being focused on the bottom line, which I think is what makes us special and what makes it a long-term thing, as well as sort of how we work together. We're a family here, so it's like having an expanded vision on that. So we got product that represents and speaks to that growth, as well as certain initiatives, and I think again, Bree will speak to some of those things because I deal more on the product side. But just initiatives within the community, expanding brand awareness. I think this podcast being already one of those things, expanding the conversation, getting what we've learned in industry and all of our experiences into the minds of those that look like us that may not have the opportunity to maybe have experiences. And I think that's been one of my only goals, especially, we'll get into it. I hope, but following the pandemic, which is such a critical time, not only for us as we formed after that special time, but the evolution has really expanded and really is something about, how do we help people? So in terms of what are we working on, a lot of it's going to be centered around that. And it could be anything from certain initiatives within the education realm, speaking engagements, working on different programs for kids, all the way to product.
Bree, you got anything
You
to
be
add?
paying attention in these meetings, Brandon.
I don't be thinking I do. I mean, it's just
Now we do. You just usually making a smoothie or something during our meetings, so we gotta make sure.
protein, man. Not everybody can be vegan, but I'm close. I'm getting there.
Word.
I'm working on my plant-based journey too. I ain't even gonna lie.
Well, Bree's the one to help you. I'm gonna tell you that much. She got it.
I'll hit you up. I need recipes, man. I love cooking, so
I got you.
You got it for sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna dive into a shoe specifically. Your recent release, the Golda. I like how that shoe incorporates sustainability, right? What are, I guess, goes with that in regards to sustainability? Like, what is your drive to push sustainability?
I think it's important. I think really, literally, the shoe itself was just from this idea of like, let's create something that doesn't just sit in a landfill for years, longer than it was used, longer than it was thought of. Like, let's do something that can continue to live on and also be repurposed. And us as a agency, as Brandon just explained, and like we demonstrate just as a team, is like, let's focus on the creators, the crafters, the remakers, the storytellers, the customizers, just the people that have something to say and that understand that realm in footwear. It was also just important to us, sustainability wise. It's a shoe with no glue. So that also adds to the story of that. Like, you can, when you run through the sole, which the sole is something that we created as well. When you do run through it, in terms of it just being worn out, you can get it repurposed, rechanged out, or just fashion wise, if it's something that you want to do, just refresh it for the season. So again, it's for those that just like think forward and want to just kind of be a part of a solution and a sustainable lifestyle overall.
For everybody watching, this is the Golda. Bree had this up earlier in this exact same colorway. If you look closer, the sole is not glued as she mentioned. But I like that in regards to with me being a creative. Like I said, I kind of got ideas for this to kind of like, I don't want to say recreate the shoe, but add on to the shoe. Like I'm an art teacher. I've been an artist my entire life. So I love the fact that it can start as this and turn into an infinite amount of different versions of this shoe if you wanted it to. Or if you love this shoe exactly how it is, you can wear this practically forever till the suede gives away. You run through the sole and then you're able to get another sole. Now, question, which could be a good thing for y'all to launch if y'all didn't already, but I'm sure, could people purchase a sole from you guys directly and just, change it? Maybe a sole with a different outsole color or something like that. Will that be something in the future?
Potentially, in terms of like the sole being the focus of like the product being, purchased and swapped out. But this specific model, the Golda, going to be sold as an unassembled version as well, so that people can
dope.
Yeah, kind of get their do it yourself and creating a relationship with like bring this to your cobbler, bring this to your shoe repair if you're not the one actually stitching and sewing it yourself. But like there's a whole like ecosystem and relationship around footwear that we also want to offer everybody and represent for them as well. So to further that story, these will be available unassembled, and we want you to go find a homie to put it together for you.
That's really, really dope. Like my excitement just went. I'm like, yo, I kind of wish mine came disassembled now. Like, I might have to order a disassembled version too. Just leave these OG and then play with the other ones. But like the shoe is beautiful. Like I'm a sucker for suede. I know you guys are just really meeting me, but I'm a sucker for like suede, nubucks, and all that. So this, I'm like, man, you dress this thing up, stylist. I'm gonna probably do a video styling this a few different ways, but this is definitely a shoe that that needs to be had in the market right now. Like you don't see this too often. A nice cup sole with this moccasin type style. I even love how the leather bands like come from all the way around to the back and then come out front. Like that's unique in itself too. Like I love all the simple detailing. Like it's a very simple shoe, but there are a lot of meticulous details in here. So shout out to y'all for that.
Well, it's essentially shout out to Britt too for that. Also the specific
word.
I know on that one, but I think what's really cool about this one, aside from the sustainability, is that it is a clean canvas, right? And so, as an art teacher, I majored in fine art in school, so like being able to have a canvas, something that you can, really do a lot with, akin to the Air Force One, akin to a lot of the sneakers that are being customized in the market. They're really simple shoes, So getting the shape right, getting the last right was really our focus, and then from there we let really the idea is to let people have their customization with it,
or just like your personal relationship with it. Even if you don't customize it, hopefully you love it enough by the time a part of it kind of wears and tears and you go find somewhere to repair it and keep it alive.
Because I get that because you're going to create stories with the shoe. You're going to create the shoe itself is going to have a life of its own. The places that it's been, the stains that happen to come on the shoe or what have you. I like the fact that this is a shoe to be had not for one sneaker lifetime, but for multiple. So kudos to y'all for that. Another one.
Ooh.
Now, I love this shoe, right? I love this shoe for a lot of different reasons. So like my firstborn was born on Earth Day, right? So when I seen this in the back. I was like, yo, this is fire. I was like, I wish they had kid sizing because I would get her a pair just so she could wear these like for Earth Day and everything. But tell me the inspiration behind this shoe. Like, is it Earth Day related?
Yes, it is
Okay.
100% representative of Earth and oceans. Sometimes, again, the simple connection to a thing makes it dope. Like it's a really fly way to just be able to have that conversation and be representative. The colorway was something that, you know, in our exploration was fire, and we ran with it. We bounce a lot of ideas out, and sometimes, you know, the simple things win. It's not, but we came out with that right alongside the composite. So again, lots of different stories to the same shoes, but we changing up the canvas. We just, you know, bringing attention to something else.
So the Carver is named after George Washington Carver. The Golda, could you guys go into who that is referencing specifically?
I'll let Bree get that one, but I know it's Mary Golda Ross.
Yeah, so simple as that. Mary Golda Ross is named after her. She was the first Native American female engineer. And we wanted to honor her, especially it being a moccasin, especially it being no glue, and that sustainability story, that environmental, you know, social impact kind of story. We do plan on taking the Golda and working with certain tribes and such in the future. And this shoe is kind of designed to just be a mindful product to just kind of start those conversations already. So yeah, we're always thinking a bit more into the future side of things, but creating again just for the everyday folks and simply designed for function and comfort, and we just happen to be fly because I think it's because we're from Harlem.
Hey, you know, look, I got a couple of friends in Harlem, and that's all they preach is, you know, the flyest people come from Harlem. So I feel that. So we talked about the Carver. We talked about the Golda. A shoe that I do not have with me, the Point, which I believe was your very first shoe, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And that is an athletic style shoe, right? Running shoe?
It's a running shoe.
Okay.
It's an everything shoe. So it's just one of those, you could perform in it, you can throw those on and, you know, wear it as a lifestyle shoe. It has the pop, sort of some of the colors that you can get excited about, throw them all in a neutral outfit and really make your outfits pop out, you know, even if you have a neutral palette. So it's just an everything shoe, everyday lifestyle sort of shoe. And I think, again, Mary Golda Ross was the store for the previous one. So the Point was named after Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point.
Okay. I like Malcolm. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, no, it's brilliant author. And again, that 99%, you know, the tipping point is like, again, related to that 1% that makes 90, you know, it's 80-20, you can relate it however you want, but the 99, 1%, that sort of ratio. So it kind of relates and ties in together. Yeah, that's kind of the story for that. That was the first, that's special because specifically the Volt yellow was the first color that came out and was special to the formation of 99 products and sort of like just setting this whole thing ablaze, you know. So super prominent and almost, we're going to say, legendary product as we go forward, but also
definitely
now from the shape to some of its, because it does take cues from like 90s running, sort of how the panels kind of overlay and, you know, having that toe box, but, you know, also having that mesh so you keep that flexibility in there. It's breathable. And then one of the things I really love about it, I don't know if you had a chance to wear them yet, but it's very breathable. But when you put it on foot, I mean, the comfort feels like a pillow. So the fit and comfort, everything just kind of works in that shoe. So it's like which most footwear only really serves a few things.
I don't have a pair. I'm definitely gonna have to grab a pair of those. I like
you might need the pink ones, man. I was
gonna say grab those bubble gums.
The pink Johns.
Yeah.
Hey, I might. I seen, my favorite color is yellow. And I seen like the orangish yellow joint that y'all dropped. Yeah, I might have to grab that one too. See, y'all gonna have me spending
Yeah,
up all my money.
Ashley's joints are definitely fire. They orange though. They not orange.
Orange.
They orange.
Look,
But
hey,
our
I
original ones
still
that
like
we came out
yeah.
with, the color ways were chalk, which was like a real special yellow that like
Okay.
was like really beautiful. And we had the whiteboard, and then we've had some different colorways and collaborations and stuff that we did too. So all
Then
teachers,
Urban Native era.
educators, teachers, community doers, just the storytellers, like we just continuing that trend down the line and like just, telling these stories one by one.
I appreciate that. Like as an educator, like we get looked over more so much. So it's dope to hear like a sneaker brand even wanting to cater to educators or essential workers. And as an educator, we teach the future leaders. I feel like that doesn't get highlighted enough. We are, helping individuals find who they are and help them dive with me, especially dive into their own creativity. I have students coming up to me like thinking about being sneaker or footwear designers because of my love for shoes. And one of the things I tell people all the time is as a child, I didn't even know that was possible for me to be able to design a shoe. Like I would have went into industrial design instead of graphic design and fine arts if I knew that that was an option for me. So now my goal is to, have my students know that there are other ways to use art than just putting pencil to paper or paint to canvas. And their eyes kind of light up when we start talking about all the different possibilities. So I say all that to say I appreciate y'all keeping us in mind when creating anything, shoes, apparel, luggage, whatever it is you guys got going on next. I'm excited. I want to dive into the industry more so. Like, what was it like for individual experiences? Tell me what it's like getting into just the footwear industry, sourcing materials, manufacturers, or even just anything that you want to shed light on, anything that would teach somebody that's wanting to get into the industry but may have fears of diving into because they just don't know.
I'll start with this one, but I think Bree has some other she came in the industry a different way, so I want her to tap in on that.
Okay.
Well, first and foremost, there are many different ways to do it versus industrial design. So I'll start with my story. I went with the hoop dreams. I grew up playing ball, but in class, I grew up drawing shoes. It wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. But I got my grades right, and then I wouldn't pay attention in class, and I would be drawing shoes all day. And this was since elementary school. So somehow, some way, I just knew what I wanted to do in my soul and spirit, and somehow design found me because I didn't know what that was either. It wasn't something you learned about in school until Slam Magazine came out. Have some stuff on the wall that I keep, but this was like an article. I got a bunch of different stuff where I was able to learn about some of the designers. I came up in, I'm 31 now, so I came up roughly when it just started to get more publicized in the worlds of the Nike talks, looking at renderings, and I was scouring the website of many different blogs, reading interviews on the Dwayne Edwardses, the Jason Maidens, a lot of the guys who are my mentors now, and I'll get into how to do it and what people should be doing. But essentially, and I'll go into my story a little bit further, but I would not rely on the external. Now, it's great if they are lucky to find somebody like you that is giving this information out. Unfortunately, everybody's not willing to do that, especially when they don't look like us. So you have to reach out. And what I mean by reach out is don't be afraid, even if they don't reach back, don't be afraid to email 100 people and with just copy and paste the same email, somebody will reach back.
Yeah.
And you got to be hungry enough to not really worry about that. You got to know that you keep figuring out the information is out there. If you want it, you can go get it. But a lot of times we're trained, it's only in this academic world, or while we're in the frames of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. that I can really think about what I should be doing. I wanted to do this. This is everything outside of that, you know. So while I was in school, I got really lucky. And while I was playing sports, I had an art teacher, Miss Colson. I'll never forget, even in middle school and stuff, but specifically when I get to high school, I would get free. She really believed in my artistic ability, as far as like, you know, because I was painting and doing different things, but I really love draftsmanship, all the way to just the drawing, the tech, you know, really just all the way from contour, line, all the elements of art, balance. So these things are design, and all of the elements in art and the principles you apply eventually. So pay attention in class, but also, as Jeff teaches, it's also about math, and it's also about everything is art. So that's the beauty about art, is that you can go to math class and figure out that geometry has shapes, and there's colors to numbers and music. My mom's and I credit this to my mother as well. My mom is a singer, travels the world. She does a mix between EDM and dance, and and soul. And so my mom was one of those pioneers in Black woman going to Germany and doing really soulful music, but from a dance kind of scene, because that's how she was able to get in. Because I grew up in Germany, sort of in a different space. So watching her do that, watching her move within the chaos of, turn those vocals up, going into the spending hours in the studio, her traveling here. How do they do a mix? Let's get the drummer. This guy put some drums on it. So it's a chaotic process, and I think it's good to have a sort of formula to go by, but you also need to embrace chaos, and you also need to embrace. My mom is on the phone 24 hours a day, calling this drummer. Let's get this person to put these keys on this one to get the sound right. So there's color and sound. All that to say, I'll go back a little bit to sort of how I got into it. But I'm drawing in class, and you sort of find a way into an industry by mentors responding, and sort of you use a little bit to get to the next space and the next space. Within the industry, as I got in, my first opportunity came by way of Kenneth Cole, my intern, which was crazy. I wanted to get into the Nikes, the this, the that, athletic and cool product. And this is another thing. I didn't get in the way I wanted to. I was a little bit like, dang, why didn't I? Because I had interviews with these people. I was good enough to get the interviews and Pumas and all this, but I didn't get the opportunity from it. I kept working on my portfolio. And so I think a friend of mine sent me internship for Kenneth Cole, dress shoes and casual product, right? Best thing that ever happened to me. So don't limit yourself to what opportunity. Everything is a pathway to something else and a new form of knowledge. So as I got in, I still knew what I kind of wanted to do, but it became, now Kenneth Cole gave me the start into the industry. Now I get into the industry is what I was able to learn is once you get in, which you don't need a company to do for you. Now there's YouTube and a lot of different things, but I was able to go to China. They sent me to China about a year within the job. I got over there. You start working with factories. You see a factory works with many different companies, and there's certain licensees and things that produce brands that have a different label on them, but a lot of this stuff is coming from the same places. So it's not all that complicated when you think about it. And then when you talk about sourcing, there are tanneries that produce the leathers. They work with the factories have their point persons like Arbery that handle. So while you're in China, our partners that work directly with us help coordinate with all the different factory partners and sourcing agents and components, and a lot of this stuff come from different places. And then there's swatch books, and there's things that you can kind of use to kind of design from, but also too is doing your own research. And you might have to go buy a sample. A lot of it's going to come from going out there, look at what's in the market, and whether it's copying the last, which is the ceramic thing that you see that forms the shape of the shoe. You can copy that and use the base of a shape that you like. If you like the shape of Air Force One, you can copy that. And if you want to tweak it a bit, it doesn't do much to tweak a last. I think you got to find it. You're going to probably have to tweak something, maybe get the shape right, make sure the step, the top, everything. Exactly. So it fits. So learning lasts, and then getting into the business from. I'll let Bree kind of speak on that point because I'm going in on the product side. But from there, it's really like the beautiful thing is you can use the footwear industry is evidence is already there. So what do we wear every day? So you can cut up your shoes. This is the first thing. Cut up the shoes. Look at the materials. How is the frequency layered? The frequency layered over the mesh. There are processes that do that. You got leathers. Why is this leather thicker? You have leathers. A lot of companies are dealing with PUs and synthetics now.
Yeah.
Not many leathers, which actually is not sustainable. With the PU is plastic. So all of this stuff is stuff people should be thinking about.
So before Bree jumps in, you said a couple of things that stood out to me. One, you have I don't know if you know this, but you have a very similar story to Salehi Benberry. He went to school for industrial design, but after he got, I think it was architecture actually, but after he finished, he didn't know what to do. So he started hitting people up, and Payless responded back to him. And he was like, it wasn't something he wanted to necessarily do, but it was the best thing that happened to him because he learned so much. So when you said that, I was like, yo, I understand that. Like, I see where you're coming from. Because for me, like I took the shoe surgeon class, and like I said, I'm learning. Like I've already put together two Jordan 1s, and I have a shoe that I'm gonna end up working on. That's probably going to be my first sample. I'm going to work on my first sample, so I know like the shoe in and out. But also mentioning Dwayne Edwards, to go back to what you were saying, mentioning Dwayne Edwards, most people don't know that he has a whole academy, Pensole Academy, that you can attend completely free. You just got to be able to get there. You also got to get in. Last year, or this past summer more so, I tried to get in with their New Balance. They have like a New Balance initiative, or they work with New Balance. I got put on the waiting list more so. And I think I know why, because I went a little left on my design, and it's only because I wanted to show them something different from the brand. So, they signed Chase Edwards last year, which is the first NFL player to be signed to New Balance. So I created a football cleat, and I thought that would be, something, because they wanted you to create a performance shoe. And so I created a cleat based off of, the history of the brand, and actually New Balance starting off as an art support company. So I was like, I'm gonna be a shoe-in because ain't nobody else doing this, and I got put on the wait list. But that's neither here nor there. But I like how you said there are a lot of different ways to get into the industry, because as I go through my journey, I'm learning a lot of different ways to get in. Like I still don't have, I have my fine arts degree. I don't have an industrial design degree, but I'm finding opportunities or ways to try to break into the industry. No, you good.
I just wanted to add on to that, man, is I left a small detail out. I did actually attend Pensole in 2015. So I was fortunate to play. I played D2, went overseas for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was over there, I was like, can y'all get me into school? And I went there just to work on my portfolio. So I was very fortunate to do that. But again, it's like this. It's like, make the situations work for you and open up your scope of, now, we got things that we got to deal with, things that we have to pay and certain things. But if you can be young and be curious and figure out the right questions to ask, it's really about the quality of the questions that you're asking. Reach out. We got LinkedIn. We got this. And so you don't need 100 mentors. You just need a few. And so Dwayne, funny enough, the two people that end up reaching back, there were like 3 out of like 100 or 80. Let's say I reached out to maybe even a little less than that, be fair. Say I reached out to 70 people. You get about 10 responses. 2 are my mentors to this day. They're both Black and brown. Quentin Williams, I don't know if you know Q4. He teaches at he teaches now at SCAD, but he went to a brand with Q4, mentor to this day, and just took his time to really help me and walk me through. And it's that kind of ability to give that inspired my path. So when somebody hand you something. And then Dwayne as well. I reached out to him with a whole paragraph of things. But again, what's the quality of the questions you're asking? Is it put me on, or is it have you done some research to go into hey Dwayne, you know about last, and so the quality of the questions you're asking us go to it with that level. And so
Yeah.
about, again, what have you done some research on your own? Have you spent that time with yourself before you then go out? And then people are going to notice that. They're going to know where, your grind is, because a lot of people, it's like, I haven't done any research, but now I'm going to reach out. You're kind of putting yourself, you're not giving yourself the odds. And so, that's
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to add. I think the last component you mentioned, like being able to start from anywhere. Yeah, go anywhere. And don't be afraid to work for free. Don't be everything that's not payment, and especially where we're going now. I don't think monetary transfers always, or I don't think currency is always in the form of dollars all the time. A lot of times I always looked at currency in the form of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So we're sharing knowledge right now and learning, and that to me is the staple for dollars and wealth and all the things that you want later on. It's just having that vision.
Yeah. You got to have that delayed gratification. Like it ain't all about, well, I wouldn't even say delayed, because if you love it and you getting the knowledge, that's immediate gratification. Cause that's how I am when I do my research and I'm looking stuff up. I'm like, oh, this is dope. This is fire. Or, like when I completed my first shoe was so trash, but I was so excited. I just started. I redid the same shoe right over. Like I finished. I was like, oh, this is trash. All right, time to do the next one. Like I was just so ready. So it's like getting that knowledge. That knowledge is that immediate gratification if it's something you love. But if you just in it for the money, then yeah, like doing that research and studying, it ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna last. All right.
I don't know if we can touch on any of this, but or we can. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was about to go over to Bree. Bree was good. Like I know we kind of had a one-on-one just now with me and Brandon, but Bree, La Boss.
Nah, that's 100%. Like that's for the creative side. That's the one that's like the dreamer of like, I want to create a shoe, I want to have a product, I want to do a thing. And I think the conversation around there's so many ways to get in. Everything that Brandon mentioned was an actual role and position and opportunity for folks to get into this process of creating a sneaker or a shoe as a product. And then on top of that, there's all the business sides of that as well. I came into this as project managing. I've been in the music industry. I've been in the sports tech industry. I've been all over the place, again, because the opportunity to learn and just kind of get information on a real case study basis of like business or, initiative and things like that has always been important to me. So where am I kind of like learning those things? So I met Jeff just through doing community storytelling work on a personal side. I'm on the like arts and wellness side, and just met and understood the importance of the story he was telling by honoring educators. At the time, he had a product as well that was geared towards the elderly population, and a shoe that was like designed to just offer more space and, again, simple design towards functionality to, a need and a demographic that gave it purpose. So just seeing that as, again, being just the way that we move and that we design product and create products in-house and as a team, like being able to manage those products and those projects and just be a part of the team internally getting done and exploring the ideas that we have and offering them to the world has been my entry into the sneaker industry. I've been able to be a part of the creative side, a lot of what Brandon just spoke about. So there's technically 17 plus jobs in the sneaker industry, sneaker footwear space that folks can go after. And within the design space, there's probably 4 or 5. Within the manufacturing space, there's development, there's sourcing, like you mentioned, there's actual manufacturing, and then beyond that, how do we, once it's made, how do we get it as consumers? So there's retail, there's marketing, there's all the things that kind of go in there. And once you're in there and you see how connected all of the roles and the tasks of each of them are to really bring a product to market, from, hey, I have an idea, or I got a brief, or like my boss wants something new, like you mentioned, you're just trying to innovate and think forward.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get in, and there's a lot of ways to contribute, and there's a lot of ways to explore and be a part of the process of creating something and telling a story through a product, and all of those things. So like both of you guys mentioned, it's a matter of like, do you have an idea of who you are and want to be, or like what you want to be a part of? And at any given point, is there a way that you contribute the most? Is there a way that you can learn the most? Is there a way that you can just like observe and have an inkling of impact in any type of way that satisfies you, that grows you, that just is a step forward for you? You can get in a lot of ways. And I think that's the main key of it, is like to not block yourself in of thinking, this is what I want to do. Because oftentimes there's lots of steps and different things to do to get to that point. And then once you get to that point, there's always a world more of options and opportunities and things that, just might speak to you that you want to kind of explore as well. So me being a person that has never thought or dreamt of like designing a shoe and making a shoe, being able to work here in this capacity, like I've made shoes and designed shoes and been a part of the process of real products being made and released. And like, I'm a part of the footwear industry in that regard. And in doing the work that we've done over the years, now I'm heading up a larger part of the conversation around manufacturing and around, you mentioned Dwayne Edwards, who has gone from an academy to a HBC.
Yeah, like that's dope.
The whole, Lewis Pencil College, and really bringing the education of this about, because again, especially in our populations, our communities, you want to be the star. And you think that the star is like this one person or this one opportunity, when there's so many, again, ways to kind of play a part in and to really get your shine on. Yeah. So with Dwayne doing education around design, and us and Jeff Henderson being at the helm of our agency and 99 Products, him bringing the manufacturing of footwear to the States, and us getting into the education side with our Good Things extension of our brand and our community. There's lots of opportunities, and we're working to bring more of those opportunities to the helm as well, in terms of just the industry and products with purpose and all of those things. So we try to lead by example. We try to be the guinea pigs and the experimenters. But we're definitely looking forward, and we're definitely just like open to you tell us why you being a part of this makes sense. And for the most part, there's room, and if it makes sense, there's a role, there's an opportunity, and that's your into the industry.
So I appreciate that so much, because as somebody, like I said, looking to get into the industry, I'm thinking more branding side, like I want to design and da-da-da. But as I said, like even when I tell my students, like there's more to art than just putting pencil to paper or paint to canvas. There's more ways to get into the sneaker industry instead of just designing the shoe, the marketing side, the manufacturing and all that. And I'm happy you brought that to light. And I hope that resonates with some of the individuals watching this, because, for a long time, it's been my dream to be in the footwear industry in some way or capacity. But I, to be honest, until now, I don't think I thought of a secondary way to get in. I know I want to design, just like how Brandon was saying, how he knew when he used to draw shoes in school, he knew he wanted to design. But I definitely didn't think of like, hey, if you want to be a part of the footwear industry, there are other ways. There's marketing, there's manufacturing, there's corporate and all this and that. So I appreciate that, Bree. Thank you. Thank you.
For sure, for sure.
All right. Now before we go, I know I've kept y'all for some time, but I appreciate y'all being here. Is there anything you kind of want to tell people out there? Also, please let them know where they can find you. Also, anything that you guys are working on.
Well, where you can find me, I'll start with that before I forget. Instagram, my name is Brandon B. Air, Brandon BJERRE. So it's just my name. And then I'm on LinkedIn as well. Pretty much all over social, it's just my name. As well as one thing I wanted to leave with everybody is kind of tailoring on the topic of today. From what I've learned now, leverage your skill. Leverage what it is you do very well. Be honest about yourself and where you are. I think I learned it in sports, but I also learned it even more so. Like I had to go to Boston yesterday. We met with TJ Maxx. Like I do some different things, but as I'm in these meetings and dealing with, be a people person. It's not very much about drawing. It's not a whole lot about what creative idea you're about to come up with, because I'm telling you, all the ideas are already done. It's really about how you shape it and what stories you're telling with it. And this is a people business.
Yeah.
If you get the chance and whatever you do, leverage what you do well to learn more about people, why they do the things they do, what are they wearing, what are the trends, your knowledge about that and psychology and sociology and sort of what Bree's also very good at, understanding how people's minds are shaped by the society at large, from the most minuscule things or the most detailed things, all the way to the larger macrocosm of things. So look at the large picture and then start to train your brain to see, oh, why are they wearing that? When I go into, I'm not sure where you're at, but I'm in the South a lot. I'm in mid Maryland, Rich, whatever.
Yeah.
If I go to the
In
Walmart
Atlanta now, but yeah.
in Atlanta, right? So, but I love traveling because I like go to the randomest places. And when I go to Waffle House, what are the cooks wearing? Okay, boom. What are they wearing here? When I go to Alabama, this is what okay, boom, they're wearing that. Why are they doing the things that they're doing? You got to get curious, and that's going to aid you in anything that you do. But leverage your skill, combine it with the knowledge of people, and remain curious, man. That's the last thing, is just be curious about every single thing. Why does the commercials come on and are framed like that? Because this is a marketing business as well. You want to get into this, you better understand marketing. You better understand why that TikTok influencer just reshaped the way that it has been done. Why did, Jeff's gonna hate this, but why did the Yeezy, how did he know to do the shape like that, doing it? Some of it's creativity, but some of it is an understanding through greater understanding through always thinking through why people do the things that they do.
Yeah.
And hang around younger people. Why is Lil Uzi, like, why are they listening to that? Why on TikTok do they like this sort of format? And why are these age groups on this sort of more than that? So again, this is do research on yourself and do research on everything. So and you could do it when you wake up. Why do you brush your teeth the way that you do? Because this is ergonomics. You're helping somebody too, and to understand and how to build product for people from a design. This is design and it's business. So there's a design component where you want to aid people and understand ergonomics and how does your body and mind work together to sort of create the thing, because shoes are still a product. And if it's not comfortable, they're not wearing what you got to offer. Why does this brand need that cleat? Sometimes it's not functionality. Sometimes it's functionality, but they need this cleat because they need to tell this story to bring in a certain consumer base. So you got to understand how to leverage these things. And so I think everybody has a skill or something that they can use, whether it's their business mind, whether it's their mind on sort of working out, whatever. Use that, go work out. Why do you run, and why do you need this much cushion under your back of your feet? Why, when you lift, does it need to be less cushion and less of a drop, like heel to toe drop? Get curious, cut shoes open. And that's what I'll leave you with without being long-winded. Cut shoes open and start to dissect what is this you're looking at, as opposed to like this is something that's already pre-framed in your mind. Break down the psychology of what it is outside of a sort of cultural thing. Did they wear that? Why are these brands paying these athletes that we understand? but we got to ask these questions so you can start to get a better understanding for yourself about how this thing works, because that is what, when you start to show, when you get into these interviews, or you have to, even if you have your own business and you're pitching a product, this is not less of a color thing. We're going to get into business operates a certain way. If you don't understand business, then it's going to be very tough to get in the field to make money on something that you do. Now, you could do anything you want by yourself for free. I mean, well, not for free, but on your own time. But if you business, number one thing is that you need to understand people. You need to understand how money flows and how product cycles actually work, and then you can start to, break down from there.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you funny, Brendan. So it's 99 products. That's where you can get all the shoes, cop all the drops, all the things. Good things as well is our nonprofit extension, as you mentioned, getting into education around manufacturing. I think the main point that I'll make is, designing shoes and making a product and having a thing is super important to the creative process, to the personal growth process, to the just expansion and experience of like a human spirit. So if anyone is moved to create a shoe, design a thing, and make it and hold it in their hands at some point, I implore you to follow that, do that, find a way. When it comes to business, though, like Brandon said, everything is all about relationships. That's the people to people, the business to the customer, the brand to the audience. Sneaker business itself is a fine relationship between literally creativity and business and sales and such as well. So if you're looking to build a brand, build a business, make sure that you're well informed and understanding of the story, the purpose, the reason for the product to even exist itself, and always come back to the people. That'll be the easiest way to be successful, is to be about the people, be informed by the people, be in care of the people, have your product be stewards of the masses. I think would be a thing to note, and probably whether we've declared it intentionally and explicitly or not, I think is what makes us super relatable and has been part of our story and bringing us forward as well. And the relationships firsthand that I've seen coming in, that we've been able to nurture and maintain, has afforded us the opportunity to be the suggested or the first one asked to kind of work in certain capacities with development, with factories, with, again, the education, with design, just different things. I'm excited about what we got going on. I'm excited about beyond the sneakers and the product that we put out, the stories that we can get to continue to tell. And yeah, for those like yourself that really pay attention, there's so many opportunities and ways for us to tell stories, and we're just having a blast, creating products and telling stories and putting names in people's minds, and just continuing the conversation of simple product with a purpose.
Very, very dope, man. I definitely appreciate you guys' time and dropping all these gems for not only myself, but for everybody that's going to view this and that's viewing it now. I'm just happy y'all were able to take time out of y'all schedule to do this interview. And like you said, I'm excited to see what you guys are doing and what you got coming up with next.
Well, thank you, man. And thank you for, starting your, just wanting to put this information out there. And don't be afraid to, start something, start the podcast, do what you got to do. Because I never felt like I was informed enough. I never felt like, oh, I got enough information. Oh, I don't feel like I'm good enough yet. I don't feel like I'm experienced enough yet.
Yeah.
From the old school mindset, because that's what I was raised on, was sort of, you got to have a Hall of Fame career, then you got to be 40 plus to start giving information out. And one of the things that these kids are showing me is that that's not the case. So we thank you for allowing this platform to be in, and your generosity to have us on here.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your, attention to detail and culture, in leading this conversation. And definitely have other members of the squad back, because as you can see, we got stories and we could talk.
Yeah.
And as much as we love talking about, the brand, we like to just also, give people some information and inspire them to figure it out.
All right, Kick Crew, this was the inaugural episode of Kicks and with 99 Products. I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out Brandon and Bree on his socials, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.